In this video, we will talk about how to simplify ratios involving fractions. So I have 4 examples for us to work through here. Let's check out this first example. We have the ratio 3/4 to 5/8. How can we simplify this ratio? Well, the first step is we want to identify the lowest common denominator between the two fractions. So here we have a denominator 4. Here we have a denominator of 8. The lowest common denominator between these two values will be the smallest number that both values go into. So what's the smallest number that 4 and 8 both go into? Well, that would be 8. So the lowest common denominator is 8. So what we want to do is convert each fraction to have a denominator of 8. So this fraction already has a denominator of 8, so we don't have to do anything to it. To get this fraction to have a denominator of 8, we need to multiply it by 2, since 4 times 2 is 8. And whatever we do to the denominator, we also have to do to the numerator. So we need to say 3 times 2. So we can rewrite this as 3 times 2, that's 6, over 4 times 2 is 8, and then we still have to 5/8. So we've rewritten this as 6/8 to 5/8. Now, once the two fractions have the same denominator like this, we can see that if we were to multiply this fraction by 8 and this fraction by 8, the 8's would both cancel out, and we would just be left with 6 to 5, which would be our final answer. Or a faster way to do it is, once you actually have fractions with the same denominator, you can just ignore the denominators and only look at the numerators and say the final answer is 6 to 5. So let's write that right here, 6 to 5. So 3/4 to 5/8 simplifies to 6 to 5. All right, let's try another example. Let's say we have the ratio 2/3 to 4/5. How can we simplify this ratio? Well, once again, we want to convert each fraction to have the same denominator. So the way that we do that is we ask ourselves, what's the smallest number that both 3 and 5 will go into? Well, that would be 15. So we want to convert each fraction to have a denominator of 15. So if we have a 5 right here, we need to multiply it by 3 to get to 15. And whatever we do to the denominator, we also need to do the numerator. So we'll multiply that by 3. Now if we have a 3 right here, to get to 15, we need to multiply by 5. So if we multiply the denominator by 5, we also need to multiply the numerator by 5. So let's see what we get. 2 times 5, that's 10. Over 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. Over 5 times 3 is also 15. So we've converted both fractions to have the same denominator. And we said when they have the same denominator like this, we can just ignore the denominators and only focus on the numerators. So we would get 10 to 12. Now we'll notice that the ratio 10 to 12, we can simplify this a little bit further. If we divide both of these by 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So our final answer will be 5 to 6. So 2/3 to 4/5 simplifies to 5 to 6. All right, let's try this example. We have 2/5 to 4. So this one's a little different. We have a fraction to a whole number. So the easiest way to simplify these types of problems is to convert the whole number to a fraction that has the same denominator as the fraction. So the way that we do that is we just say 4 times 5, that would be 20. So we'll cross this out, make it a 20 over the same denominator of 5. So 4 is the same as 20 over 5. And we can see that 20 divided by 5, that's 4. So we haven't changed the value of 4. We've just rewritten it as a fraction. So now what we can do is we can rewrite this as 2 over 5 to 20 over 5. And we said when the two fractions have the same denominator like this, we can just ignore the denominators and only focus on the numerators. So really this is the same as 2 to 20. And the last step to simplify this is we'll notice that 2 and 20 can both be divided by 2. So if we do 2 divided by 2, that's 1, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. So our final answer is 1 to 10. So 2/5 to 4 simplifies to 1 to 10. All right, let's try one more example. Let's say we have 2 3/4 to 1 1/6. So in this example, we have 2 mixed numbers. So the easiest way to simplify this ratio is to convert the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So the way that we do that is we take the denominator of 4, multiply it by the whole number, and then add the numerator. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So we can rewrite 2 3/4 as 11 over, we keep the same denominator of 4. So 2 3/4 is the same as 11/4. And then let's convert this one to an improper fraction as well. So we say 6 times 1 plus 1. So that would be 6 plus 1 is 7. So we could rewrite this as 7 over, we keep the same denominator of 6. So we've just rewritten the mixed numbers as improper fractions. And now we can use the same trick where we say, let's convert both fractions to have the same denominator. So what's the lowest common denominator between 4 and 6? Or in other words, what's the smallest number that 4 and 6 both go into? That would be 12. So let's convert both fractions to have a denominator of 12. So 4 times 3 would get us to 12. So if we multiply the denominator by 3, we also multiply the numerator by 3. And then over here to get to 12, we need to do 6 times 2. And then we can multiply the numerator by 2 as well. So we get 11 times 3, that's 33, over 4 times 3 is 12. And then on this side we have 7 times 2 is 14, over 6 times 2 is also 12. Now the denominators are the same, so we can just ignore them and just focus on the numerator. So we have 33 to 14. Now 33 and 14 don't share any common factors, so that's just going to be our final answer. We can't simplify that any further. So 33 to 14 is our final answer on this one.